Okay, firstly, welcome everybody, and on behalf of Shirley, myself, Janet and Terry, I genuinely want to thank you all for joining us today to celebrate Rose and Tom's special day. I'd also like just to give a special thanks to John, Sarah, Freddie and Matilda, who've travelled all the way from Australia just to be here. So, I know that means so much to Tom and Rose. So good for that. Now, when Tom asked us if we would give him permission to ask Rose to marry him, Shirley immediately burst into tears. Sorry, of joy, Tom. And of course I said no. No, only joking. Actually, I did say no. But there you go. They were about to go on holiday, and with the help of Martin and Caroline, just to set the scene, ready for Tom to propose, which of course he did, and I hear it was wonderfully romantic. So, well done to Tom, and thanks to Martin and Caroline for setting that up. That was good. Now, obviously, these days make you reflect on all the years leading up to this, and especially the day Shirley informed me that a boy at her school was going to ask her out on a date, and if he did, that she would say yes. Now, as a dad, I knew this day would come, and I wasn't really looking forward to it one bit. So, here Shirley and I are at West Hatch School on a parents' evening. Shirley said to me that Rose is going to point him out to us, but she said, I don't want to hear any of your comments. Do not say a word. Sorry, I'm just going to get this chair out of the way, in case Shirley hits me. But like I say, I don't know what she means by that, because I really never comment on anything, do I, Shirley? Not only did I meet Tom for the first time, but I also met Terry and Janet. So we introduced ourselves, as you do. When Janet informed me that Tom is a lovely boy, but has this habit of walking sideways. So immediately I thought, great, my daughter's dating some sort of weird crab man. Anyway, more about you in a minute, Tom. Now, before I go any further, I do feel it's my duty to inform Tom that he was not indeed Rosie's first love. In fact, for this other boy, I had to drive on an 8-hour round trip just so she could sit in the same seat that he uses. And of course, we're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. And I think Rose knows what's coming next. Within literally an hour of us returning home, she said to me, Dad, I want to write him a letter. So, the next day, Rose produced what I can only describe as a work of art. A beautifully handwritten letter with the Manchester United logo watermarked in the background. The best line within this letter being, I love your silky skills. Now, the joke is that Rose actually always maintains that I'm the one that told her to write that, but come on, look at me. Do I look like someone to say, I love your silky skills, anyway? So, now, depends on what way you look. Unfortunately or fortunately, a reply never arrived.
No, I don't like him anymore.
Yeah, well, so he was dumped, down came the post from her bedroom, end of story. Now, as you all know, Rose chose to teach as a career. And looking back, it does seem very fitting. I was talking to Nicole about things to mention, And she recalled that, sorry, 1 second. Rose used to make her sit down in her bedroom with all her dollies lined up around her, and they had to answer when their name was called, just so Rose could take the attendance register. Now, at uni and school, Rose, unlike me, kept focused and got the results she deserved. While at uni, she never went out and always missed partying for the sake of getting her degree. Where's Chloe? Are you sure that's right?
Is that true?
Now, for this last story, I do really want you to think of all this from a child's point of view. Now, we were all at my brother's house one Christmas, and somebody suggested that we all play charades. When it came to Rose's turn, she enthusiastically tried to demonstrate to us all Stephen King's The Ring. Right, you're getting the gist already, aren't you? Now, the best way Rose could think to describe this was to act out placing a ring on and off of her index finger at quite some pace. Needless to say, we were all highly amused but didn't have a clue what the hell she was trying to do. Look, there's so many stories I could tell, but as this speech is only an hour and a half long, I think that'll have to do for now. So, anyway, I will say this though, as your dad, how lucky I am to have such a wonderful daughter, and how proud I am, and I genuinely mean proud, of you in all aspects of your life so far, and I'm sure in the years to come. I love you to bits. I really do.
Lovely.
Okay, so let's move on to Tom. After our initial meeting at West Hatch, Tom started to appear at our house more and more often. Now, I didn't mind because he's such a well-mannered young man and a slight bit shy. I could see he wanted to make conversation with me, but was maybe a little intimidated, I don't know. So one evening, he was sitting in the lounge with our cat who was rolling all over his feet. So I just sort of said to him, Tom, I said, she likes you. And he must have thought, well, now's my chance to make a conversation. And the words were, I like to write this down, Tom. He put, your cat fur is so smooth and soft. Now, followed by a deadly silence, which I must admit, I really did let go on for a lot longer than that was fair to you. So I'm sorry about that, Tom. I'm sure one day you'll be faced with a similar situation. I've now known Tom for almost 14 years, and he seems to have incorporated our sense of humour into his own, and indeed we have experienced the Rogers wit, which works perfectly with ours. I'd also like to compliment Janet and Terry for raising Tom to be an honest and decent person, who I just know will take care of Rose. Now, I know this is the part where I welcome Tom into our family, but as far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure Shirley agrees with me, he is already part of our family and has been for many years. So cheers to you, Tom. Right, before I finish up, I'd just like to say a few words about Cheryl. This is a good bit. The main reason, not only Rose, but both my daughters have turned out to be such well-rounded people is because of all the support, encouragement, opportunities in all the various activities that your children like to try as they're growing. She arranged, organised all these things willingly, so at least now as adults they can say they've played tennis, tried gymnastics, played piano, or in Rosie's case, clarinet, one lesson, cost me a fortune, swimming, kayaking, the list just goes on. And all this while running a full-time business, looking after other people's children at home. I truly think, and I'm not just saying this, Cheryl, after all these years, you still make me laugh, which is so important to me. You're an amazing person, and I'm so very lucky and proud to be your husband. One second. That'll be wine in a minute. Right. That's about it from me. But before I hand you over to, I believe, Terence, I just want to say we truly wish you all the happiness today and for many, many years to come. Would you all please stand and join me in a toast to the bride and groom. Thank you very much. Thanks. Thank you, Nat.
Thank you. As Nick mentioned, I'm now going to pass over to the father of the groom, my dad, who would like to say a few words remembering absent friends and loved ones.
I'm pressing it. That must have been Tom Eves. Well, for those of you who don't know, I am standing up already. Now, I think your speech was wonderful.
Thank you, Terence.
And follow that, which is very difficult. But I thought I'd start off, because I'm doing, really this is going to lead to a toast. But I thought I'd talk about the people here first. So we get to see the bride and groom, and as they are now Mr. and Mrs. Rogers, I'd like them to stand up. And now, there are quite a few Mr. and Mrs. Rogers here today. So, frankly, I'd like... Somebody's got to hold the mic for me, apparently. I'd like Mrs. Rogers and Mr. Rogers all to stand up in the various parts of the room, please. Now, there's another two there. My brother, my cousin from Ireland, Susan, Sarah. I can't see Caroline. Oh, Caroline's already standing, and so there's a lot of us, Rogers. Of course, we've got, and we can't deny that we've got some Connors. Yeah. So, Mr. and Mrs. Connor, if you'd like to stand up, because we'd like to see, and any other Mr. and Mrs. Connors, we'd like you to stand up, because we're all here to celebrate this wedding. And realistically, when you look around, you know, these are all family people.
I think we got you beat.
Is that quantity or quality? I'll let you be the judge. Now then, we've got other relatives of our own that are not Rogers or Connors. And pardon? I'll say that one again. So all of you cousins, uncles and aunts of the Connors, the Rogers, if you'd also stand up, please, if you can. Now then, Then we've got any other family ties to the Connors, please stand up. Any family ties to Rogers? Not that mob again. Please stand. Now, family and friends and university and school chums, if you could all stand. So that should be everybody. Anybody not standing, please stand and see me later. And the toast that I want to make is to our absent friends, for people who would, barring certain circumstances, have been here today. We would have loved them to be here, sickness, etc. Some we've lost. So the toast, with your leave, Mrs. Rogers, the toast is to our absent friends. Absent friends. God bless them. Thank you very much. I'll hand you back to Dr. Nathaniel.
Yeah.
So now I'd like you to please put your hands together for my brother Tom Goodroom.
Don't read it. No, it's fine. Yep. Can everyone stand up, please? Okay. Thank you. That's me done. Okay. After 13 and a half years, or 4,934 days, she's finally worn me down. On a serious note, and on behalf of my wife and I would like to thank... I would like to say thank you so much to all of you for making the effort to come today. We appreciate all the effort that everyone has made to be here on our special day and the generous gifts that we've received. I was struggling when thinking about structuring my speech, so I thought I'd trawl the internet for some help. After a couple of hours, I found some really, really good stuff, but then I remembered I was supposed to be writing a speech. I'd like to firstly thank the Connor family for welcoming me into their family. They've definitely taught me a lot over the years. I walked into their house as a 15-year-old timid young boy, and they've made me into the confident, arrogant man that I am today. Yeah, it's true. On a serious note, I couldn't ask for better in-laws. I now have a lovely new sister-in-law, Nicole. I remember when I first met you, you were 9 and hardly spoke to anyone. Nothing really changed there. You also needed a bot of warm milk in bed every night, or you couldn't sleep. This continued till you're 21. To my new father-in-law, Nick, thank you for the kind words. I'm glad they were kind, actually, and thank you for welcoming me into your family. Nick's taught me some absolute gems over the years. Most notably that it's okay for 6-foot blokes to get pedicures on a Friday evening. And to use buff puffs in the shower. Apparently he has sensitive skin. In all seriousness, thank you for everything. I couldn't ask for a better father-in-law. To my new mother-in-law, Shell Girl. Where do I start? Despite being a bit of a nutter, you're one of the nicest people I've ever met and would do anything for both Rose and me. I know most people don't see eye to eye with their mother-in-law, but I must say I am very lucky. Shell has one love in her life, and it's not Nick. It's her cats. I've never met someone that will sit on the floor so the cat can sit on the sofa. On a serious note, you should be very proud that you've raised two lovely daughters. They're both a credit to you. Thank you to my lovely parents for the great upbringing you gave me. You've made me the handsome, confident person I am today. It does feel good to be the favourite son. Thank you for always looking after me, teaching me right from wrong, and supporting me in everything I do. One particular highlight I remember from my childhood with great fondness is visiting all the UK castles whilst all other kids were at Legoland. Yeah. Many of you will know that I have 4 brothers and I'm a triplet. As the baby of the family, I've always looked up to my 2 oldest brothers, Martin and John. Thank you both for all the guidance and support you've given both me and Rose. Nick's already said this, but I've written it, so I'm going to say it. Special mention to John, Sarah, Freddie and Matilda, as they've travelled all the way from Australia for the wedding, although part of me thinks you've only come back for the ashes. Thank you to my fellow triplets, James and Nat, for always making sure I'm the best looking and coolest triplet. Couldn't have done it without all your effort. Thank you to Caroline for the lovely reading during the ceremony. We really appreciate that. I'd also like to say thank you to all of Rose's bridesmaids. You all look beautiful and have looked after Rose really well. I can't imagine the job you had this morning. That's what I normally wake up to.
I saw it, Tom.
Wasn't pretty. Would you all please come up as we've got a little something for you?
Yes. Yeah. It's for bowling. It's for unicorn. Thank you.
It's not much.
That's for
Thanks, Joe. I can't reach it. Who's this for?
That's the one.
Tilda. Thanks, Tilda. Yep. I'd like to thank my ushers for doing absolutely nothing today. We don't have any gifts for you. Except for you, Freddie, you did a great job. Would you please come up?
Yay, Fritz! There you go. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you to my 2 best men for everything today and everything before. You've both always been there for me. Thank you for arranging a brilliant stag do in Prague. From what I can remember, it was a good weekend. Thanks for getting me here on time, and I look forward to the lies you're about to make up to make me look bad. And now over to the star of the show, the person you've all really come here to see, the new Mrs. Rogers. Let me set the scene. For those that don't know, Rose and I met at West Hatch School, and I finally plucked up the courage to ask her out in the most romantic spot you can think of, outside the toilets. I know how to treat her well, and I wanted to start her off small to make sure she didn't get any ideas. Who would have thought 13 years later we'd still be going strong? I then decided to go to the University of Kent, and Rose followed me to check up on me and make sure she knew what I was doing at all times. We've lived together since then, and we finally got engaged in Cyprus last year. I'm actually surprised she held out for so long. One thing I would like to mention is that I'm always getting told that one of us is punching. I'm getting quite sick of it. Rose is almost equally as attractive as me. I would like to thank my new wife for sorting out everything. For sorting out everything for today. Rose has planned and organised everything, and I think you'll agree she's done a fantastic job. It's lucky one of us is organised. We've been together now for 13 and a half years. I can honestly say you're my best friend. You are unbelievably stunning, and I really am lucky to have you. You are clever, funny, and you look amazing in your dress today. You keep me organised and make sure I always have a list of jobs to do. Jobs. We've done so much and visited so many amazing places over the last 13 years. I can't wait for the rest of our lives together to make more memories. What we have is very rare, to find the person you want to be with so early on. There only ever has been you, and I feel incredibly lucky to call you my wife. Would you please all stand and raise a glass to my beautiful wife, to Rose. Love you.
So, last but by no means least, I'd now like to introduce you to the two
Cheers,
best
mate.
men. So, there's Martin, who is my much older brother. Also,
Rude.
Tom's oldest friend, James, also known as Matty. So I'd like to introduce him.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes, this one. Is that working? Just tap it. Tap it. Yeah. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the highly anticipated showbiz event of the year. My name is Martin, and I am Tom's older, wiser, and more sophisticated brother. And this is James, Tom's taller and much better looking friend. You will have noticed that the table theme for the wedding is Game of Thrones, so it's fitting that today features a beautiful woman now officially in charge of a heavy drinking dwarf.
We have both been given the honour of being selected as the two best men from literally none of the hopefuls. Having been chosen to utterly humiliate Tom for the next 10 minutes, we should probably explain our relationship with him and what sort of man Rose has decided to be manicured to for the rest of her life.
This is the first time I've been a best man, and I've received a lot of good advice from various people. The main one being that there may be people here present today that are easily offended. So whatever you do, try to avoid the usual cheap sexual innuendo, profanity and off-colour remarks which may rub them up the wrong way. Oh, sorry, I've lost my place. I request that if you do hear me say anything that rubs you up the wrong way, just give me the nod and I'll whip it out straight away. This is great advice, but to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of innuendo anyway, although I do like to slip one in now and again. So for those of you who don't know, I'm sure you do now, Tom is one of a set of triplets born on the 26th of October 1990 in Barking. He weighed just 3 pounds 12 and a half ounces and was very much the runt of the litter. I can still remember the day that Mum was diagnosed with the triplets. I was 12 years old and Mum and Dad appeared to be utterly delighted. I was genuinely excited during the pregnancy, but I have to say my excitement turned to abject horror when they finally came home. Personal highlights would have to be a slice of toast pushed inside a video recorder, the family cat being swung around by her tail for a laugh, and the total destruction of most of my personal possessions for their own enjoyment. I have my suspicions as to the identity of the ringleader, but unfortunately nothing can be proven.
I thought I should give you an insight of how I've managed to become lumbered with Thomas for these years. I met Tom on our first day in West Hatch. I was given a letter, so I was late to our form in JM. It was a daunting prospect walking into the classroom. I spotted a seat at the back of the room next to a boy who had a skinny and with a mushroom haircut. And when I sat down, barely 2 words were said. Luckily, Tom has improved over our friendships, well, at least with the willingness to speak anyway. Whilst growing up, I spent a lot of time at Tom's childhood home playing football in their garden, was one of my highlights. We lost the ball a number of times over next door's fence. We would always walk back inside and they usually did not throw the ball back for us. On one occasion they did. And still to this day, I don't know why I uttered these words saying, "Thank you very much, I'm very interested." Much to the amusement of Tom and his brothers, but I'm sorry, Janet, if our football antics and my strange remarks made problems with your neighbours to this day. If you're familiar with the Rogers family, you will know they do not shy away from a big meal, especially when it comes to Tom's favourite, Savaloy and chips drowned in vinegar. I would always ask for a small portion to the amusement of the Rogers, as they would, at the tender age of 11, demolish 2 sausages in a large portion. Janet, I just don't know how you kept them fed. Tom and I spent many weekends together. On one particular weekend, we defended our lives in Romford. Tom wanted to look in a post office for a job. However, before we knew it, we were surrounded by a gang threatening us for phones and money. We obviously reacted by saying we did not have anything, forgetting we had skinny jeans on with bulging pockets. However, being the strong boys we are, we managed to fend them off, and all they got away was a £2 coin, which Tom was massively annoyed at. A lucky escape for both of us. We have reached many milestones together for our 17-year friendship, from finishing 5 years of secondary school, buying our first homes, holidaying together, and even proposing. Tom decided to rush out and buy a ring when I told him I was going to propose, always trying to steal my thunder.
Now, Tom was very shy growing up. Hello? And was always embarrassed when he was in the spotlight. As we've heard before, he developed a bizarre and hilarious habit of walking sideways when he was put on the spot, much to the whole family's amusement. I was half expecting him to slowly scuttle off sideways when he was doing his speech. When he met Rose, he changed for the better. He was no longer the shy, timid, spotty little gimp. He was turning into the confident and popular man that we all know and love today, and Rose was the main reason for his transformation. One thing that Tom always excelled at was sport. He was a very good footballer, having played for Buckhurst Hill, with whom he won the Essex County Cup. And guess who scored the winner in the last few minutes of the final with an absolute screamer? One of his more skillful teammates. Didn't catch his name, to be honest. After the match, Tom was worried, as the manager said they would be letting some of the fringe players go. But I knew that Tom would be okay, as he had a side party.
Cut that. Continuing with football, through our mutual love of West Ham, we have attended many away days. On one eventful away day in Liverpool, during the match, I had a tap on my shoulder from a man behind, telling me to take Tom out of the match, because he was too drunk. However, I soon realised he was actually immobile with back pain, or it could have been a few too many. After managing to prop him up for the second half with my hand clutched beneath his sweaty armpit, we managed to get out. Whilst I carried him over my shoulder, I found a taxi. After initially refusing to take us, the driver agreed, also offering some unlabelled pills to help him with the back pain, which Tom rapidly took.
Lovely.
We made it onto the train to find a seat, and I come back for Tom to find him laying on the floor by the toilets, which can I only describe as looking like a beetle turned upside down. Told him to come with me. He told me just to leave him there. After the long journey to Paddington and eventually getting him into a seat, he got off the train, stood straight up and started dancing, saying the pain had gone, I'm fine. Anything for some attention.
Got some love.
As Tom's older brother, I'm extremely proud of the man he's become and his achievements so far in his life. I never imagined that scrawny, chicken-like creature with pipe cleaner limbs that I first saw in the special care baby unit would now be a chartered accountant with a beautiful wife. Whilst he is undoubtedly extremely intelligent, sometimes common sense is not his best friend. An example of this was back at my old house in Chigwell. It was New Year's Day and we were obviously hungover from a heavy night before. Whilst I was upstairs asleep, Tom decided that he needed to leave the house and go to see Rose. Now, my old house had a porch which was locked from the inside with a key. He managed to get into the porch and close the front door behind him, trapping himself between the two. Now, any normal person would have rang the bell and banged on the door constantly to wait to let me in, but no. He formulated this cunning plan of trying to escape via a window no larger than a packet of Rice Krispies. I'm not sure if he managed to get any of his limbs out before I rescued him, but suffice to say it didn't work. He did manage to attract a few stares from my bewildered neighbours, but thankfully the police weren't called.
In case you don't know, Tom has a well-renowned photo face, which crops up on numerous occasions in Tom and Rosie's well-documented relationship. We have put together a few of our favourites in the envelopes on your table. All we can say is we look forward to seeing how the wedding photos turn out. Now please open them. Rose?
That's not me.
A few more seconds. As the majority of you know, Tom enjoys a drink and is not one to say to a boys' weekend or stag do. On our friend Jake's stag a few years ago, Tom may have consumed a few too many beers. We were all enjoying ourselves in the club. Tom then asked our friend Beadle to come with him to the toilet. Whilst they found the toilet queue was extremely long, Tom started to panic, and after a while, Tom couldn't wait any longer, and shall we say, let himself go whilst waiting in the queue. So in cases of any emergencies today, we have a gift for you that should stop this from happening.
Thanks, mate. Exactly. Everywhere's a toilet there. I'm kidding you.
Okay, it's now about time I said a few words about today's main attraction, the new Mrs. Rogers. I know everyone will agree that she looks absolutely stunning today, and I'm very happy that she's my new sister-in-law. I met Rose when she was still a schoolgirl. She was very sweet, polite and intelligent. Over the years, her relationship with Tom has flourished. When Tom first introduced her to me, I was amazed that he could pull such a good-looking girl. He was skinny and awkward, resembling a cross between Skeletor and Dobby from Harry Potter. I was thinking maybe Rose should have gone to Specsavers. All joking aside, their bond is stronger than ever, and they are extremely lucky to have that connection with each other. Rose has many talents. What I personally would like to thank her for is helping me meet the woman who I eventually married and now have a beautiful son with. Over there. She gave me a helpful shove in the right direction, which is what us Rogers need now and again. Tom, consider this as a warning and listen to your wife. We are all very lucky to have you, Rose, as part of our family.
It's been a pleasure watching you both turn into the people you are today. From the moment Tom mentioned to me that he was going to ask Rose out, I thought, this isn't going to go well. And how wrong I was. Selfishly, I was a bit saddened when Rose agreed to go out with Tom, as I thought I would lose my best friend. However, Rose, with her caring nature, made sure she became friends with both of us. I sat next to Rose for many years in maths, always laughing and joking around, when maybe we should be doing some work. However, Rose, with her great sense of humour she has, the only problem is, once you start her off, you can't stop her. After meeting you, Shirley, I know where Rose gets this from. I'm so happy that Tom found Rose and that through their relationship, I've not lost a friend but gained a new one. Years later, we embarked on our first couple's holiday. Whilst in Mexico, the sun was shining, the all-inclusive drinks were flowing, the handstand competitions were in full swing. I should add, this was Rose and myself, not Tom. Rose demonstrating her competitive nature, even if her eyes were burning red through the amount of chlorine intake. After a number of drinks, Rose expressed her happiness in the moment by telling us she wanted to be this happy forever. It's a shame this didn't last all night. A few hours later, suffering the effects of alcohol, In a restaurant toilet, I'm sure the same words were not expressed. I can only hope that you're as happy you were that day as you are now in marrying Tom.
Yeah.
At this point in the speech, I would like to offer the bride and groom some healthy advice, read the do's and don'ts of married life. So, Tom, 2 things are necessary to keep your wife happy. First, let her think she's having her own way. And second, let her have it. Also, never say to a teacher that they only work half the year and enjoy a 13 weeks holiday. I made this mistake with my wife and a sound thrashing was swiftly delivered.
Rose, now that you're married, you can start to eat whatever you want and stop worrying about the sins and healthy extras. Always remember, he is punching way above his weight, and I doubt that anyone else would have him. When embarking on your new renovation project together, remember, you always know where I am. A repeat of Tom attempting to rip out a kitchen without any tools is someone no one wants to see again. This may also avoid any unwanted trips to A&E.
In all seriousness, my advice would be, never take each other for granted. Don't feel you have to compare your life or your marriage to anyone else. And remember the vows that you have made today. Be honest and loyal with each other always. Oh, and never go to sleep on an argument. Just stay up and fight all night to the end.
Tom, as the best man you could possibly enlisted for your wedding day, we've been trusted by Rose to present you with a special gift. For the nosy people in the room, it's not a prenuptial agreement, which is still with the solicitors. It is a personalised letter from West Ham United's captain, Mark Noble, congratulating the newlyweds on their wedding day.
How long you are?
Let's just hope he wasn't skipping pre-season training to write it.
Finally, I would like to thank Tom and Rose for entrusting James and myself to be the best men today. We are both truly honoured to be a big part of your special day, along with the bridesmaids and ushers. Thank you.
On behalf of everyone here, may we wish you both a lifetime of health and happiness together. Now please join us in raising your glasses and be upstanding as we toast a happy couple. To the new Mr. and Mrs. Rogers.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Really good. Thank you. Enjoy those.